Yeah, like I've not got a full Bitcoin. I have 0.0371 something or other of a Bitcoin.
You bought like...
You have like the nose of like a 1 pence piece.
Basically.
Just the nose, just the front of the queen.
Yeah, not even the front of it, just like a nostril. Like you didn't even get the whole nose.
Yeah.
Welcome to Badger's Burrow podcast, number 62.
We just fucking go there, we
Yeah.
Hey,
No, the usual 3, 2, 1.
Nah.
Just fucking straight into it, is it?
Yeah, no, we've started the stealth recording method.
All right.
It's just because very occasionally the conversations that we have just before we start can be really fucking stupid and silly. And
Like last week's.
Yeah, like last week's. And they immediately stop as soon as I do the 3, 2, 1. So I figured now I'm just going to press go, and at some point or another I'll actually announce that we're already doing it.
All right. You sneaky bastard.
Sneaky.
Did you get the bit about the Queen's nose in it?
I did get the bit about the Queen's nose, yeah.
Fantastic.
excellent.
What
Fucking solid TV show that was.
The Queen's
Yeah, that was a good TV show. Yeah.
What?
Do you not watch that?
Yeah, what?
I'm looking this up.
No.
Look up.
fucking
These
is.
kids had a lucky 50 pence piece and they used to rub the Queen's nose and magic shit would happen.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
What?
It's got a 7.4 on IMDb.
That's underrated in my opinion.
The Queen. It's had 44 episodes, 7 seasons.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What the hell? Like a kid's
It was
show?
on at like 4 o'clock after school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking Dino, man.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that.
A novel adapted into a television series by the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
BBC.
novel?
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
so.
You fucking uncultured swines.
I had never ever heard of that before, ever. Holy shit.
Fucking, it was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, I'm reading about
Was.
it. It's a little weird. Created by Dick King Smith. What a fucking name.
That's an amazing name.
Don't Dick King.
Fucking, that's awesome. Fucking Richard King. What a name. That is fucking quality. Oh, right. So, Shauni's taken up a fucking lease of life with these podcasts.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I edit.
It was just different grunts. Oh, fucking
Yeah, I'm doing editing. I
Idea.
edit this one.
So if it comes out shit, we know who to blame.
No, Jamie's checking it first.
Shauni,
Oh, is he checking
So
it?
blame him.
What,
Blame him.
what I
That's
want,
easy mode.
what I want you to do, Shauni, is I want you to take the bit about the Queen's nose. I want you to put it in before the pre-roll.
Right, okay.
So it's just the bit about the Queen's nose, and then the titles, and then the rest of the podcast.
Okay.
And then
I can do that.
And then I want you to sepia tone all of that happening as I'm speaking about it right now.
Okay.
You're a dick.
You're terrible, man.
Do you know
I will
what?
do it.
Do you know what though? Right?
I'm going to do it out of spite now.
No, I'm going to help you do it as well.
Spite
No,
is
no.
a powerful motivator.
Yeah, I'm going to do it out of
it's just-
spite. I don't even care if you help me. I'm going to fucking do it.
It's just one of those things that like I love when like Alex or Ross or really any of us say something like that in a video because I love actually making it happen. Like it can be the most fucking ridiculous request, and we still find I'll still go through the effort to put it in at least.
So will I.
Can I make a request then?
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck off.
Go on.
Every time Alex says dino in this podcast, I want to see a dinosaur on screen.
A different dinosaur or the same one?
Editor's
Oh,
choice.
don't make it worse.
Creative liberties.
I mean, so far, what are we, about 3 dinosaurs or something like that?
Gotta be, yeah.
I would say like don't have it start until that request comes in.
Oh, of course.
Because if we just get
that makes it easier.
Yeah.
No, it's like if we just get random dinosaurs popping up on the screen, folk about like our 5 viewers are gonna be like, "What the fuck's this all about?"
Wait.
Yeah, but then
Does
it'll be explained.
does dinosaur count, or is it just dino?
Just
That's just dino.
Okay.
Which there's like 5 dinosaurs required just in that explanation.
Yep.
Yeah. No, he said just when Alex says it, and Alex only said it once.
You raise a good point actually. Erase those
That
5.
is a good caveat.
Does that mean like you get to go like back in sepia tone and just have like a wee rubber taken out of the dinosaurs? Or...
See if
More editing shit.
See if all of that fucking happens. It'll be the most edited podcast in the fucking world.
Yeah. And I'm
Be worth
going
it, won't
to
it?
do.
Oh.
I'm being very conscious of how I speak now.
He's either conscious because he doesn't want to give work, or he's just really aware of the fact that he says that word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hyper the fact that I say dino a lot.
There we go. There's another
Yep, there's another one.
So it's like how you always call me out in the fact that I start a sentence with like fucking, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you do.
And
Like,
you know what?
I'm aware that I do it.
Started every single one of us doing that as well.
Like, I can't help that I'm from Glasgow.
You've made it contagious.
I know you're like a trendsetter now.
You poor bastards.
Alex, you bought Forza.
Yo. I did.
What's it like? Tell us. Give us the lowdown.
Got cars.
Nice.
Did they go room?
Yeah.
Meow.
Can we just have a car go really fast across the screen there?
Oh, fuck.
It occurs to me that like that sort of onomatopoeia of like a 4-pot turbocharged car was probably lost on you lot.
Mm-hmm.
But for any car fans out there, they'll know exactly what I mean by that.
But no, you've got Forza. You've been playing it. What's your lowdown? I'm interested in getting the game. You know, sell me it if you want to. Don't sell.
He
me
wants
if you
the
don't.
Alex scoop. The Alex. Fucking what's the word? Exclusive.
Right. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a good game.
What game is? Let's face it.
Portal 2.
It's damn close. I'll give you that. It's fucking damn close.
But no, like, it's I missed Forza 6 because of how disappointed I was by Forza 5, because 5 had like fucking nothing in it. You know, there was fuck all tracks, fuck all cars, fuck all to do.
Yeah,
Pish.
like because they released Forza 5 semi-recently, Games with Gold.
Yeah.
I got it, and I found myself bored in the first 20 minutes. Like, I genuinely felt like it was forcing me down a track of playing various things, and by the time I'd finished all those things and actually kind of had the game opened up, I was like, that's why it made me do all these really specific things, because that's everything that I can actually do.
Yeah. 7 kind of takes your hand that way a bit as well.
I kind of like and kind of don't like that.
The single player bit, don't like. There's a lot of stuff to do in single player. Between the sort of Forza Cup thing that it's got, the rivals. Well, it's technically multiplayer, but you do it by yourself. Rivals, and then like just free play and all that sort of stuff. So there is a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
Multiplayer for me lets it down. Like I played a shit ton of 3. It was decent online, was good, had its flaws, don't get me wrong, like every game. 4 was fucking dino. Fuck. 2, 3, and 4 all had 5 and 6 as well, I guess. I never played 6, but from what I've read today, because I'm annoyed, I've all had sort of class-based multiplayer, which meant you could pick any car you wanted, pick a certain class, and then build the car to be competitive in that class. So, like, my favourite car to use in Forza 4, for example, was a Honda Civic, like one in 97 Honda Civic, that was converted to rear-wheel drive and turbocharged. I had like very popular car for like the B class races. Like you could get it B class bang on. I think it was like 500, and it was a ton of fun. You know, on like that class based system, because you had to kind of work on your cars, made the online really competitive.
Yeah, because
the 7 has On you go.
No, it's just because from what I played a fuck ton of 3, was my biggest Forza like motorsport game, and it was always that kind of competitive nature of like the people that really knew and understood cars and exactly how much you could get out of them, because it would basically kind of give your car an overall rating. From like it was basically like from 100 up to like 1000. Was the kind of rating scale. They still use that.
It was X999. Yeah, it's the same way.
They still use the exact same scale, but the whole thing about it was like you could buy like a B class car that was like a really good, well-rounded car. It was built to be like that as standard by the manufacturer, but you could be outpaced by somebody that's bought like a D class car and had modded it to fuck, and just knew that would work better in terms of like its weight and power and everything.
Well, that was it. Like, for example, like to use that sort of D and B, the Civic, for what I remember, is a D class car when you buy it. And then when you make all the it's a C class car, but when you put the rear-wheel drive on it, it takes it into a D, which lets you put tons of stuff on it. You know, like a turbo, engine modifications, all that sort of stuff, and just make it really quick, really nimble as well. But 7 doesn't have that yet, at least. For what I've read, 6, while it had the class-based stuff to begin with, there's a lot of stuff that 6 has just now that wasn't there when the game launched. Now this is a pretty much brand new game. It came out in October.
Yeah. So
it's got the kind of division stuff that kind of ties you in to using certain cars. The sort of hopper that I've been playing out of the most is S-Class Unlimited, just because it lets you use, well, anything, really. As long as it's S-Class, doesn't matter if it was made that way or you made it that way, as long as it's S-Class, you can use it. I've been having a lot of fun with that.
So, from what I'm understanding from that, is it's basically like, instead of locking it to different classes, so you can have, like, say, the Civic go up against, like, I don't know, fucking like a bog standard Audi A3 or whatever. Like, in terms of, like, their class matchups. But is it more about, like, type matchups? So it's like a hatchback sort of quarter and then...
Yes. Like, you've got... there's, like, homologation in it. So that, like, all these cars must be exactly the fucking same.
There's
like, as far as performance goes.
Jesus.
What, homologation?
Yeah.
The big thing in motorsport.
Anyway, continuing.
Yeah. But there's a... Oh, actually, I'm sitting in multiplayer just now, so I'll jump out of this race because I'm doing fucking dire, and I'll kind of walk through it all. You get the sort of welcome to multiplayer thing, which is actually kind of fun. They put you in a Lamborghini, you go fast, it's great. Now, I go over to the next one, which is Exotic GT. Oh, fancy. Of the 700 cars that are available in the game, you can use 17. You can use 17 in that hopper. None of my cars are eligible.
And I'm guessing, like, obviously, because it's multiplayer, there's no separate sort of, like... Forza's always been good at that kind of unified progression thing. Like, if you play multiplayer, obviously you can use all your cars, all those mods, whatever they were built like in the single player, because it's just one of those things, because it kind of uses that semi-online system, the Drivatar thing.
Yeah. That's the other thing as well, is it's a bit like 5 in that it won't let you use certain cars in certain races. I know 3 and 4 like that as well. But it's more so. Like, and one of them is like, how do I put this? It basically tells you what you're allowed to use, and there's nothing you can do with that. Like, with 3 and 4, the car you pick could be slightly could be outside of like this thing's requirements. Like, as long as it was, like, say, a hatchback, for example, you could use it. If you built it up to be on par with the rest of the cars that are taking part.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's like there's like 4 different fucking hatchback classes.
Aye, because there's like your just standard. There's like hot hot hatch, and then
That's I mean, there's like 4 different hot hatch classes. There's like fucking
because there's the retro hot hatch, and then there's the modern.
Aye.
There's the modern.
there's
hot
retro
hatches.
hot revival and all that shit as well. It's like, can I just let me pick a stupid little car, put a big engine in it, let it go fast?
Yeah.
Come on, the fuck.
Yeah, that was what I kind of liked the most about 3 was the fact that you could kind of get something that wasn't quite what it was meant to be in. Like you would, I loved going into like the fucking like the kind of A class races in 3 because you could just have fucking such a wide variety of shit. Like you would catch GT cars in there, you would catch like fucking you would catch Ferraris in there, you would catch modified hatchbacks. You could literally kind of catch any sort of car from the scope of the game, and they would be wildly imbalanced against each other.
Oh yeah,
But that was
Great.
just part of the fun. Like, I wonder, like, for me, like, the way that kind of Forza runs at the moment, it always seems like Horizon's kind of like their test bed for a lot of things. Bless you.
bless you.
Fucking really distracted by this sneeze.
I love this
that's my-
mic sometimes, I really do.
But yeah, like Horizon for a lot of stuff seemed to be like Forza's sort of test bed for a lot of things. Like Horizon 3 has a lot of what you're describing, Alex, that like things are in like a hot hatch class in either modern or like sort of like I don't know if it's called retro or if it's called 80s or whatever, but
Retro.
Yeah, but it's that kind of thing. Like it's got those 2 different classes, and then it's got like your modern saloon, your off-road SUV sort of thing. Like it's just got all these different class races. And it's probably the one thing that actually stopped me playing Forza as much as I used to. I would say as a kid, but it wasn't that long ago that I was playing 3. Just
I was in my 20s when I was playing 3, so
yeah, I'm pretty sure I must have been about 17 or 18 maybe when I was playing 3 a lot. But fucking yeah, it's just one of those fucking really strange things. It was like a whole different sort of mind game that you had to get into.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, you know, what can I put in this class that will outpace everything else just purely based on the chassis that it's fucking built into.
yeah. What I will say is Forza 7 doesn't seem to put as much emphasis on the motorsport side of the game as if the car racing is secondary in this. It seems to be about the sort of lifestyle and shit rather than
Right.
the driving. That's the impression I'm getting. It's like somehow the racing part of the game is of secondary importance. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't seem like how a game that, well,
Based around racing should be, yeah.
is a fucking racing game, yeah. Like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just seems backwards somehow.
The other thing that's really got me ripping my hair out right now is in multiplayer lobbies, and all the Forzas that I've played, when you join a lobby and the race is in progress, you can watch the race, you can spectate.
Yeah.
Can't do it in this.
Why not?
I don't know. It's just the option to spectate just isn't there.
But the technology is there. It's like a step in the wrong direction.
Do you know what's even better? They advertised spectating.
So it's kind of like a false advertisement thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not been implemented yet, because there is stuff still to come. When you look at some of the menus, it says like, you know, coming soon. Like tournaments, they're not in the game yet, but they are coming.
Nice one.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Well,
So
again,
that gives me a little bit of hope about the sort of class-based racing again. It's like it could come soon,
I mean,
but how soon, I don't know.
I mean, again, that kind of takes me back to thinking of when, because I bought Horizon 3 when it was like basically brand new. Loads of stuff that was meant to be implemented in that game didn't work at launch, and they implemented stuff, and they implemented a lot of stuff over time.
Yeah.
Which was fine, but it's one of those things that like I went back to it semi recently, and I now feel like the entire world is just exploding with fucking icons, because it's been so long since I've played. They've added so much stuff, and now I don't know what fucking half the shit in the world means.
Yeah. Well, the one as well is like I used to do. It's sad as fuck. Through an old car forum I was in, we had a touring cars championship in Forza 4. Yeah, it was the. Like, I'm not gonna say the forum. Based around British cars, I'll leave it at that. So we had a sort of British touring car championship in Forza 4, and one of the big parts of that was the spectating, because we needed not so much marshals, but like folk making sure we're actually following the rules that are laid out.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So same with like the sort of the drifting side of Forza, which is massive. Like you can't have like we sort of community based drift events because spectating's not there. No one can judge. So
and you can't just have all these like fucking player-owned cars sitting at the side of a track.
yeah,
Because like for the most part, the ones that like, if I'm still thinking like a lot of the same drift tracks are used from like back when 3 was big and the drifting scene was huge, and really starting to kind of gain its traction, then or lack of, I guess, it was like the whole thing of like you would spectate it or watch people's like drift runs. Like you could upload a whole fucking video into the community from the game. Like it was a kind of internal capture thing. It wasn't even like to an Xbox or to your hard drive. It was sort of just like an internal.
just in the game.
It was just in the game, built in, that you could video your entire run.
Yep.
Edit it pretty much whatever way you wanted. You could choose your different camera angles. Like the auto camera in it was actually pretty smart. It would choose a lot of really good angles for you and just kind of follow your car around the track, and you could upload that video, get people to judge it all from the community. Like the community side of things were really well done at that point.
Yeah. Well, again, like on that whole like lobby thing, like about the spectating is, I joined this lobby about 5 minutes ago. The race just started, so I've been sitting in the menu just staring at my wee guy in his fucking bright orange race suit, just kind of fidgeting around next to the car.
Yeah.
Nice.
While I'm watching cars go really fast around the track.
So, is there an internal class system within the brackets the same as Horizon then? So to explain, like
I didn't play any Horizon games, man. The only Horizon game I played is Fast and Furious one.
Which was actually pretty fucking stupid and fun.
Yeah, it was good.
3,000 gamer score for anybody looking for it as well.
Yeah, piss easy.
Yeah, really fucking easy 1,000. And you can do it twice because it's on the 360 as well. And for ages, both copies were absolutely free, so you could just download it on both systems and 1,000 point it because the achievements are exactly the same.
Yep.
The only one that's really fucking difficult for it though was the stunt one on the 360 because the fucking stunt tracker was broken as fuck. But needless to say, yeah, like if you've got like a kind of like again, I'll just go for hatchbacks, say fuck it, hot hatch class. Yeah. If you're racing an A class hot hatch, everybody else that gets kind of popped into there is also racing A class. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if I jump into the modern hatchback hopper that's in the multiplayer, I can use one of my cars. And it's a fucking a reasonably new Honda Civic Type R. It's C500. Everyone else has similar cars, if not the same car. It's C500, so it's more about the driving than it is making the cars. But for me, most of the fun of 3 and 4 was taking something that was wildly uncompetitive and making it competitive.
Yeah, it's a lot of the fun that I kind of had with those games was making cars you didn't expect to find in certain brackets.
Yeah.
Was like a big thing, and trying to kind of find the best things for each sort of bracket as well was.
Here's the thing, like in Forza 4, one of the fastest cars ever in the fucking that B multiplayer thing, believe it or not, was a Toyota Aygo.
Yeah, I remember that because people were just putting stupid modifications on it because it fucking weighs nothing.
If you put it rear-wheel drive, it dropped its performance rating down even further, which meant you could do all sorts to it. You could get to a solid B500 and it was fucking fast. Like pissed all over my Civic and my Wii Elise that I had that I thought were quick.
Yeah, but it's just because I'd like but then that whole sort of thing is kind of gone, and it is very minorly about the cars, but because you can do so little to them within their brackets now.
Yeah, it's more about how the cars look.
Yeah, and which
sadly is really how the sort of car community in general seems to be going. No one really cares about a mental engine swap and getting like a fucking 10-second quarter mile. Folk just want my car to be like scraping the floor and looking nice. Which does my nothing, because I actually look at the Forza games the same way I look at like how I do cars myself. Like, what stupid shit can I get away with? What's something really dumb that I can make work?
I feel like they should have, like, obviously they've kind of evolved with car culture, and I notice I'm well aware, by the way, that this has been currently about 20 minutes of just purely car talk, and the two not-so-car people in the podcast have been fucking dead silent. But
Here, you two are giving me the perfect time to sit and eat my tea. I've had some delicious chicken in this last 20 minutes. I'll tell you that much.
I've been hearing the very, very occasional like fork clink on the plate, and I've just been like, Ross is eating his fucking tea, is he?
There is no professionalism here.
Yeah, one of us.
How would there be?
One of us is eating tea. Fucking, I'm sat in my dressing gown.
And guesses what I'm playing.
Stardew Valley.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is also our gameplay footage.
Podcast footage.
Yeah.
For today.
So gameplay footage for the background is Stardew Valley, which also marks the first time that Badger and Pals will have had anything from the Switch
Yeah.
as any kind of footage at all in one of our videos.
Holy shit, stop the presses. Fucking get Nintendo on the phone. I want my money.
No, where's our
They
sponsors?
won't give us money. They'll demand money from us.
Pretty much.
I know.
Which is good because we don't make any, so they can have all of the nothing that we've made.
Oh, if it's not monetized, they can't really do shit about it.
Yeah.
We could also just make the footage slightly smaller so it doesn't register.
Yeah.
Just make the frame that little bit smaller. Just do what Game Grumps do, man.
Yeah.
Have like a 98% screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really fucking, like, bizarro, but works.
Oh, it's if you either make it a little bit smaller or flip it back to front, it can't content ID it. That's how you can watch Top Gear on YouTube. It's just flip back to front,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
the BBC can't, say like how you.
I mean, they can try to, but technically it's a completely different image that's on there, so they'll spend a long time.
Yeah.
Which I always find quite funny. Here's something we can all talk about, though.
Go on.
Moving away from the Forza car discussion,
And chicken.
which is once again Destiny, because we've actually been trying to get into the raid.
Yeah.
Oh,
First
yeah.
attempt, not so well. Second attempt, really well.
Well, second attempt better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't finish it, so it's not really.
Yeah,
But
definitely better. I like it a lot. I like the raid a lot because every single
Yeah, it's
person, every single person has a purpose. Every single person has to contribute. Like, there's not really at any point that anything relies on any one person alone. It's a very, very team orientated thing.
Yeah.
Which is like what we were saying when we were actually discussing the raid after kind of closing up for the night the other day, was that Taken King's raid was much more like that it was more reliant on a team effort, whereas like Vault of Glass was eventually kind of figured out to be a soloable thing, and Crota was like easily quite early on figured out to be a soloable thing.
Vault of Glass was soloable if you could get your head around the mechanics to the point where you could do it yourself.
Yeah.
It took really knowing that raid down.
But the
Crota was easily soloable. I've fucking done it myself twice.
yeah,
A lot of fun.
One of the things that I'm both annoyed at but also really like is that this raid, I would be very surprised if somebody figured out how to do it solo.
Yeah, same.
Like,
I mean, somebody fucking did manage to solo Oryx a couple of times.
yeah, like but there's certain phases that you cannot solo, definitely.
What are you on about? There's loads of people that have soloed Oryx. Every time I went on with a random group of people, there was a 12-year-old sitting saying that they had soloed it.
Yeah, but could they fucking do it when there was a group of people there? No.
No.
Yeah, but there's several folk on YouTube that could do it, so yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen the proof. It is doable.
Fucking anything's doable with time. I could actually understand the community of the people that ended up soloing those raids, though, because if you couldn't find people that you worked well with, then the best thing to do was just figure out how to do it on your own, I guess.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is bizarre and ridiculous, but I guess if it works, it fucking works.
Yep.
Like, I just can't get my head round, like, the mechanics of this raid are really fucking team heavy. I do not see a way of it being possible at all to solo it.
Yeah.
Although I've started seeing some glitch videos popping up online of like how to skip or how to trick certain phases to skipping phases, or like skipping cycles and stuff like that. That stuff's starting to come round. So I wonder how much of it they'll patch. I wonder how much of it will stay. I made the mistake of ending up looking into like it's called prestige mode now, but it's hard mode, is it?
Yeah, hard mode.
Yeah.
Because they always had slightly changed mechanics from the original, and I made the interesting choice to read about some of the changed mechanics in the Leviathan raid if you play it on hard mode. Some of that shit's fucking brutal.
Fair enough.
In some ways, actually, in a kind of way, the hard mode made one part of the gauntlet easier, but everything else about it made it more difficult.
Yeah.
For example, like in the gauntlet, you have basically you have your two runners, and then you have one person that's kind of like going to the next plate, one person that's hanging behind killing a scion. It's a whole rotational thing that basically just
it's fun.
It plays out in cycle, and when you get a team,
especially if you
go ahead.
No, like I say, it's fun, especially if you're in the hunter just running around things, not really having to do much. It's nice.
Yeah. I mean, even on the outside, like when the actual running phase starts, it's one of those that like mechanically it's quite easy to fuck up because there's like communication and working stuff out that needs to happen on the fly and needs to happen right every time, and there's 4 times that you got to do it per run, and three runs that you got to actually nail it. So it's just purely based on amount of times you have to get those mechanics right every time. It's just it's fuckable just for that reason.
The last phase of Vault of Glass was like that. Like you had to nail a mechanic so many times before you actually killed the boss.
Yeah, well, up until everybody was overpowered as fuck and nailed him straight away.
Yeah, we could fucking. At the end of Destiny 1, a full team of Yellowhorns could take down fucking Atheon.
Even when Yellowhorn had been nerfed to fuck as well.
Yeah, you walked in the room and just fucking laid into him. You could do it.
Which didn't work with Crota, although Gallahorn was really fucking good for making him kneel.
Fucking two Yellowhorn rockets made Crota kneel.
Mm-hmm. But
or 4 regular rockets.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things that just because of that kind of mechanic of it, it was just because Atheon was actually the boss that you actually had to do physical damage to. Callus is like that as well. Actually, he's a more Atheon style boss. He's only he's only damageable when certain phases are like present, but you can technically damage him at any time.
Yeah, you just don't do much.
Yeah, like you do so little, and there is a maximum number of repeated phases that he can do. Kind of like Oryx, like there's only so many times you can repeat the phases, and then eventually he'll get bored.
Well, I mean, all the bosses they all had like enrages.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I like about the raid?
What do you like about the raid, Ross?
That I have absolutely no idea what I'm going into, and no matter what job you've put me in, I do very well at my job.
Mm-hmm.
I like that about.
I like my job.
I like that about the raid too, Ross. It's like it's quite unique as well for me and Shauni, because we were never ones that knew what was coming before we had it explained to us by one of you guys. It tended to be Alex, and when it wasn't Alex, it was Ross explaining stuff. Like they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was year 1 Destiny Dad. Ross was year 2.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
and it was one of those that like it was it's nice to know that everybody else is getting a break from it, and that we're doing the instruction for it this time. And it's been quite good because like me and Shauni have looked into it quite a lot, and we tend to split ourselves. Like most of the raid mechanics revolve around 2 teams of 3. So me and Shauni tend to split ourselves, 1 on each team. So we've basically got one person watching what's going on that really knows the mechanic inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be working pretty well for us. Like it is just taking us a while to nail it down, but it's also like I'm thinking back to Vault of Glass and the first time that we actually like went in for trying that, and how long it took us to get the required light levels and the people together and all the mechanics of it down. Like it was several weeks of playing and trying, and that was when we were able to get together on a really regular basis.
Yeah.
Like, we would literally be able to sit with each other, like, 2 or 3 nights a week as a team of 6 and do it. Whereas, like, with the Leviathan, with Destiny 2, we're all kind of split up all over the place with various things. It's been really difficult to get a team of 6 together. Like, every time we've went to do it, we've struggled to get 6 together, but we have managed to get in 6 people and give it a go. But even then, we can't get together, like, regularly. I mean, like, right now we're sitting on a Monday night. It would be our last shot at kind of going from where we were in terms of this week tonight, but there's probably no way that we can get 6 people available.
No.
You know? And then obviously we got resets and stuff, but what I'm quite liking is that, like, for the most part, it seems to be like at least me, Shauni, Alex, and sometimes Steven, we're all jumping in, grabbing like nightfalls, we're grabbing like our clan XP for the week and doing the flashpoints and stuff. We tend to be getting about 2 or 3 light levels higher just with those like tiny increments that those things give you every week.
Yeah.
And so even with like 4 out of the 6 people kind of advancing like that, it is starting to make things a lot easier. Like, I mean, I noticed a pretty massive damage difference, like from when we tried this week from last week, because like we were really struggling last week, and this week we could manage quite a few of the phases without actually needing to worry about the damage output variant.
Well, in the time between the first time we done the raid and the second time, I'd upped my light level by about 10 levels, and that's me now just hit 300 as well.
Mm-hmm. And I'd upped mine. I'd upped mine by only 3, but it's still.
But that made a massive difference.
It's to that point as well, because the recommended light is what, 280.
Mm-hmm.
So
260.
260, yeah.
Is it 260? Is it really?
It's 280 for prestige.
Yeah, it's 260 for the normal, but it's like complete bullshit in that it's like 260 to start it, but you need to be 270 to actually do anything.
Yeah. It's like one of those where
because
it'll let you in at 260, but it's recommended to be 270 before you even go anywhere. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
that makes sense.
All the raids have been like that. Like, as you get further into the raid, the required light level does go up. I mean, Crota really showed it the most, where up to just after Death Singers, you could do it happily at 30.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was piss easy at 30. But after Death Singers, because of how Delta scaling worked and everything else in the rooms after Death Seekers went up to 33, if you weren't 31 or above, you were fucked.
Yeah, because it just scales in your favour back. Well, it scales against your favour.
Yeah,
like
massively.
Massively. Like the scaling is certainly a lot less in Destiny 2 because it's already tried to implement this sort of secondary way that they did light levels in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Because they sort of like they got so far and then they ended up changing their mind with it almost. So it was one of those where when that change kind of got implemented, because your light level was then in the hundreds rather than like the difference between 30 and 31, which is, out of a maximum, was it 34 at that time was the maximum?
34 when they made the change.
Yeah, so...
Is that the Skolas?
Yeah, so say like if your maximum's 34, the difference between 30 and 31 is more significant, whereas like I think just now the maximum light level is 320.
305, I'm sure.
I thought it was 320. I'm gonna actually look that up before I say any more.
Yeah.
Power level cap. What is it? Yeah. Oh no, you're right, Alex. It is 305. It's technically
can't see it, but put my hands up in victory.
Yeah, but it's 300 technically, but because of the +5 mods that you can have on, you can get it to 305.
Yeah.
So like when you're talking about a variant of 300 instead of like a variant of 34, like when you're going from like say 277 to 279, it is a difference, but it's not as noticeable of a difference.
But what I'll say is, like, when 34 was like max light, when you look at how weapons worked, like, yeah, armor was still like 31, 32 was like the number come up, but for weapons it was in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So a max level, say, auto rifle was 336. No, 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it went 300, 330, and then 360. That was like the max levels of, weapon power. And then they tweaked it and brought all those high level weapons that we had at end of year 2, I want to say it was, and squashed them down to 170 max, and made the new stuff even higher. So the old stuff still done the same damage, it worked differently within the environment of the world.
Yeah, because the way that they did the light level and the scaling had all changed.
Yeah.
Like the world and kind of how you would advance through it essentially remained the same, but they just did a total change to how everything's scaled. But obviously we haven't experienced that with Destiny 2 yet, because they're still in their primary way that the world works. Like
still Destiny 2 is still vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're fairly close to its first DLC already.
Yep, like next month.
Which, I mean, it would be no surprise that we would probably get through that DLC, get our light levels to quite significantly higher than where we are now, and then go back and do like the original raid. I feel like that's probably what will end up happening.
That's how we do things.
Because at current progress rate, we're not looking at being able to get together regularly enough to actually nail down a team that can actually do it. I mean,
struggles of adult life, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I mean, like, I never ever thought that I would find myself saying, man, I really wish we had 3 or 4 more friends.
Yeah.
So what Jamie's saying, folks, is applications are open.
Come be our friend.
You can be part of the POS. And help us do things and join us on.
I was confused for a second there, because I don't want parts on me, but then I realised.
Yeah, Posse, not possum.
Yeah.
Close. Not the same thing.
Although a third leg would be pretty cool, I guess. I just fucking rolled spectacularly. Holy shit, I'm still going. Game clip that.
Speaking of spectacular rolls. I don't. That's not a very good segue at all. Anyway, fucking Just Cause 3 is on sale. It's still on sale just now. I was literally watching I've started watching little game clips, compilations. It's from a channel called Gamers Are Awesome.
And they are.
And it's just compilations of it's compilation that sometimes it's game fails, sometimes it's close calls, sometimes it's wins. And I was watching a compilation of the wins, and there was just really epic stuff happening in all these different games. And there was a couple of clips from Just Cause where there was just pure fucking chaos.
Just Cause always shot gold. It was always over the top as far as destruction goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just Cause 2 is the same, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the very first one and never ended up playing 2, although I think I ended up getting it because it was free at one point. But I've never played it yet. And it was just in that moment, I was just do you know what? I actually really enjoyed the first game. I've never quite gotten around to 2, but I'd love to play 3. Because I see so many clips from it, and it just looks like it shits gold. And I'm just kind of I don't have I kind of find I have about 5 primary game types that I kind of need to have a game of each type at any one time. So it's I've got my multiplayer commitment game, which tends to be an MMO or something like that. Right now for me, that's Destiny. that I put a lot of time into in terms of trying to kind of get to the same level as where everybody else is, to then obviously be able to do all that shit. I tend to have a massive sort of RPG game that I play just to myself when I've got time. That I like to get immersed in and that I like to spend a lot of time with. For me right now, that's Breath of the Wild, Legends of Zelda, because it's scratching that kind of Skyrim-esque itch for me at the moment.
Yep.
Just Cause is currently filling in what I like to call my kind of destructible sandbox game. GTA was in that slot for the longest possible time, but because we've not gotten together and played it for quite some time, I'm back off the wagon of playing it again. And
I'm so fucking burnt on GTA, man.
Yeah, and I was just needing something that was just a massive open world game with a lot of explosions. And it caught me in that very right moment where I was just like, do you know what? That is what I need just now. And then, like, any of the two others, like, it can totally vary what kind of games they are. Like, I mean, I've seen myself put in, like, hours into, like, the fucking Sims as, like, a kind of semi-regular thing that I put into. But, like, right now, the other couple of games I'm playing are, like, XCOM 2. I'm kind of still trying to get through that. And aside from that, like, I'm just kind of playing sort of, like, doses of, like, Mario Kart, Pokemon, and other little bits and pieces of games that I'm not entirely committed to, but that are just kind of filling time when I've got sort of time that I want to spend with those games.
Fair enough.
But I think stereotypically I at least have three sort of main sort of styles of games running at all times. Like basically something that I play with people, something that I play seriously for myself, and something that I play really unseriously for myself.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that as well. Like, I've got a driving game, which right now is Forza. For a while it was Forza 5, but before that it was Project Cars. First-person shooter, Destiny, but that also fills that time commitment game.
Yeah. I feel like any sort of like, if you do game regularly, there has to be a game that's a time commitment one.
Yeah.
Because like,
well, for a long time there, for me it was Neverwinter, because I was putting a fuck ton of time into that, and I still go in at least once a week to sort of throw things into my guild to keep me active in the guild. But other than that, I don't really play it too much.
Yeah, see, I'm a bit like that. I kind of have like my go-to games. So like, I like to always have like my RTS, my real-time strategy ones, which just now is Empire at War, because it's like the modding ability has brought back a whole new life to it.
Yeah,
it's fucking great.
Yeah.
I usually like a quite a sandboxy building game, which is Space Engineers, and probably will forever be Space Engineers. It's fantastic. I love it. I usually like a bit of a survival game as well, which just now is Ark, because me and Jess have been playing
that earlier.
I usually like to have quite a survival sort of based game.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that really sort of tipped me off to you having a real fucking survival game itch, Ross, was the fact that like for a while me and you got together fairly regularly to play Minecraft just for fun. And then it very quickly became 7 Days to Die, and it was very persistently 7 Days to Die. You were always like, do you want to play 7 Days? Do you want to play 7 Days?
I like those games.
Yeah, I remember you two being all about that for a while.
Yeah, and then like Ark was a big one for us as well. We put a lot of time into that. But I think survival games are one of those things, like, I do enjoy playing them a lot, but I can get burnt out on them after a wee bit. Like, I think, like, between Minecraft and then going to Ark and then going to 7 Days, it's like we were just in a constant trend of playing almost exactly the same game with different skins. And I just burnt myself out on them. I was just like, I just can't play games like this right now anymore. I'd have no interest for them right now. So
fair enough.
Yeah, it's easy done on survival games, because especially if they're like as hard as Ark is, because Ark's fucking difficult.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that like there's just so fucking many of them. Like Minecraft just set a fucking trend, and it just won't die, of games that allow you to fucking put down blocks and survive against things that are way fucking tougher than you are.
That's exactly what Stardew is.
Well, yeah, I guess it actually kind of is. Like, although it's kind of done in a...
Although it's more farming based, and there's a lot more kind of missions to it, but it is essentially...
It's also,
honestly, Ross, you would absolutely love it. You build up your farm, you have to get animals, you can set it out whatever way you want, you can choose what crops you grow, certain crops are cost different monies, and then like it's just amazing. You can do fishing, you can do mining.
See, I'm just afraid that I'll lose myself in that game, because I did that with Farming Simulator. I played that non-stop till I got all the achievements, and then I was done.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so good.
It's one of those things though, Shauni, that it's like, I know Ross. I think if he got a Switch and if he started playing, well, he wouldn't even need to get a Switch. Like,
it's on Xbox.
It's on Xbox now as well. So, like, if he gets Stardew Valley, we genuinely might not see him again.
Do it.
Like, because it's just one of those.
Join us.
It's just kind of one of those games. Like, I found myself playing it, and it's like I enjoy those kind of games because they're really good games to actually completely switch off with and just spend a lot of time with. Stardew doesn't quite hit it spot on for me. Like, Slime Rancher was perfect when I was playing that. That was a perfect version of that for me, because it wasn't like commitment based enough. Like I didn't have like a super like in-depth story and loads of characters to kind of follow and remember.
Yeah.
Like it was just sort of like it was in-depth enough that I was remembering like where certain slimes were and how to do stuff and like certain tricks and stuff like that. But nothing that was really super difficult or long-winded.
But there's nothing really super difficult in this. You just farm.
Yeah, but the difficult part comes from that, like, you've got to kind of balance all that with your energy, and you've only got so many hours a day to actually do things and be active, and other than that, like, there's punishments for going outside of those times. There's a lot of characters and actually quite a lot of story that goes on, even though it's quite...
There is. However... I haven't, let's just say I'm on year 2 of it, so basically what happens is it goes in seasons, and there's certain things you can grow in certain seasons, and then it goes on to year 2. I'm on year 2 now. I haven't just spoken to a single person this entire year, and I'm almost in fall.
Yeah, but it's one of those things though that like, that's fine, and that like, that you can play the game like that is fine. But I feel like the actual art of playing Stardew is to actually kind of get engrossed and like have it a little bit more like sort of Animal Crossing, where you've actually got to be emotionally involved with pretty much all of the characters in it. Like, I think that's its intention. That's what it sets out to do.
Yeah.
And you can play it in a way that you basically fucking ignore everybody.
My chickens escaped.
But like, it happens a lot. Trust me. She was shouting about it earlier.
Fair enough.
Boris, get back in your enclosure.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, like you can.
Wait, let's back up a moment.
Go for it.
Shauni, is one of your chickens named Boris?
Yes.
I've got Boris and I've got Errol as my chickens, and then I've got the cows. The girl cow is Bradita, and I can't remember. And the other cow is called Bruce. I've got Bruce, Boris, Bradita, and Errol.
Let's go.
Jamie named Errol.
Oh yeah, I did forget that actually, because you were like, name a cow, and I just went Errol. Like I was.
I said name a chicken.
Oh right, sorry. It was that your chicken that you got.
Good, get it right. My chicken's named Errol.
Sorry. But
they're also all females. Just to clarify.
It's just I find that game like particularly funny because like it feels like you should want to invest like a lot of like really loving and caring and tender time with the game, and like if you like look at my game and what I've named things and like how I'm playing it, it's just not how I'm treating that game at all. Like you know full well, Shauni, my farm in that game is called 50 Shades of Hay. Like I'm taking no serious fucking action with that game at all. Like
mine's called Sweet and Corny.
Such a bad name.
I like it, guys. And I'm buying another chicken. Someone name it.
Reginald.
Cool.
I was waiting on Ross's face lighting up there. I was looking at it. I was wide-eyed.
I was thinking, because it's a serious thing naming a chicken.
Well, I'm gonna
names
buy
for life, Jamie.
I'm buying another cow, so
No, just for Christmas.
You can name the cow, Ross.
Sweet.
Okay, so I've now got Reginald the chicken.
It is.
It just reminds me.
I don't think chickens can change their name by default. I really don't think they can.
I mean, it just reminds me of when my mum and dad got chickens and they were saying that I could name one of them, and I was just like, "Man, Tika, there you go."
Like that, did you, Alex?
Aye, it was good.
Speaking of changing names by default, I still really want to try and get Erin to change her middle name. Or rather, add a middle name.
What to fucking?
Or wait for it. Wait for it's also quite a good one. As a middle name.
Yep.
It works.
It does.
I've thought about getting Possum added to my name legally. I just don't know if I want to spend the money on it.
Oh, you should.
How much would it cost?
It's only like 60 quid for us, I remember. Doesn't cost a lot. Hang on, I'll check.
Ross, we need to have a discussion after the podcast in private.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Who's got Alex for Secret Santa?
I know. I know.
Oh, I know as well. Actually.
You are aware that to do that, you need to have me there and have me agree to it.
Yeah, but we could buy a fake birth certificate or something like that for a $5, surely.
Yeah.
Shout out to Secret Santa making an appearance on a podcast, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. That's for your passport.
What?
Changing in your passport.
Ah.
Not at all what I meant.
Fucking, I hate. Well, I don't.
Don't say it.
What?
Wow, that's cheap.
Let's try and guess what Jamie hates.
Do you hate the fact that you can change your name for a whole £14?
£14?
All it costs, man.
Not dear.
That is not. No.
It's not.
Right, what does Jamie hate? Let's go round the room. Even though we're all in separate rooms. Shauni, what does he hate?
A lot of things. From what I learned tonight, he hates cottage pie.
Right, he hates cottage pie. Alex, what does he hate?
No, I dislike ready-made cottage pie. Like that you just stick in a microwave or like in the oven.
It was Tesco's finest that I was having. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, but it's still like ready-made. Like if it's fresh made, fine.
It was perfect. It was a perfect cottage pie.
But then I have an issue with quite a lot of ready meals because I just find them kind of pretty tasteless and bland most of the time.
Jamie hates like stuff in his desk being slightly out of line, maybe?
Right, okay, so stuff out of line on the desk. We've got that.
Yeah,
got
I can see that.
pie. I'm going to say Jewish people.
Hey!
Now, Jimmy, what is it you hate?
This time of year. Nothing like any of those things. I mean, Alex is right. I do hate things being out of place on my desk. Like
that's why I don't go near your desk.
And I do kind of dislike the cottage pie that you had tonight, Shauni. I'm not gonna lie. These are things that I hate.
So good.
I don't dislike
I was getting
Jewish
slightly
people.
nervous there, Jimmy.
I don't dislike Jewish people. I don't dislike what? Fuck. I don't dislike. Is that right? I like Jews.
Yes.
Let's go with that.
Dope, so we're lovely folk.
I like Jews.
I like Jews.
Sounds like you're saying that you like juice.
I do like juice as well.
One for the book, really, isn't it?
Oh, fuck, I brought the right Heather's thing in the book. I'll do it later.
It's our first appearance.
It is our first appearance.
I wonder how long she'll be a cameo.
Don't know, where's the book? Don't tell me I've lost the book.
No.
See if you've lost the book.
It's our
I've not lost the book. It's here somewhere. I'm not going to look for it right now on the podcast.
It's our one
It's
book.
here.
There's a lot of shit in that book that can't be replicated.
That is
I know.
It's very true. It's a really fucking good list.
I found the book.
Woohoo!
Woo!
The book lives.
But yeah, what I was originally going to say to hating was this time of year, but purely just for the fact that right now, I wake up, it's fucking dark. I go to work, I drive there in the dark for the most part. When I get home, it's fucking dark again. Like, if I'm working at like 8 or 9, I drive to work when it's still like dark and then just coming into the light. And it's dark by 5 and like, or even before then, it was dark.
It was dark by 3 today.
Yeah, it was dark by like
Jamie.
3.
Have you seen that YouTube video, like, My Cousin Oscar?
No.
I recommend you watch it.
Is it going to be something that's very akin to what I've just said, perhaps?
Yeah, it's all to do with daylight savings time.
Right, okay.
Fucking awesome. It's like Oscar from Iceland, but Oscar with 2 A's.
Right, uh-huh.
It is magical.
I don't know why, but see, every time people like spell names to me now, I tend to put like the the bit that they say like specifically in the wrong place. Like when you said Oscar with 2 A's, in my mind it just went Oscar.
You're a little bit special.
Yeah, I don't know why it just does that. It's kind of like every now and then when I say Stuart with an EW, I'm just like EW Stuart.
I do a Welsh game yesterday, actually.
Oh, what a Welsh guy.
Yeah. I was looking for Witherspoons.
Their like actual names aren't too bad. Their town names are a fucking pain in the ass.
Jamie, we live in a country that has Ecclefaggan. and Mulgai,
Echo Feckin'
which is spelled Mil. Yeah.
is really good. That is a good one.
And
And we've got
Mulgai, Millengavi, yeah.
Mulgavi, but we've also got Tarbet and Tarbot,
Yes.
which are actually pretty close to each other and very easy to mix up.
Yep. And we've got Freakum as well, which is Freukheim.
Freakum. Freukheim. Yeah.
That's,
In essence, what Scotland does is take words that sound not terrible
Make
and
them
then
terrible.
fuck them. Yeah.
although,
Fucking dino that.
it was really
It
fun.
is.
Oh,
But
it's
No, a dinosaur.
and it's,
fuck.
and it's probably the last one of the podcast too, because we're winding down.
No.
Dino.
We should just have the same picture growing in size. Like,
no, just like the same picture would pop up in different spots of the screen.
yeah, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah. Have fun, you two.
Okay.
I hate you all.
We're going to be here a while. It's due out tomorrow, right? At 10 o'clock, it'll be 11 o'clock. At the very earliest. That's going to take a while for us to do. We might still be awake at that point trying to fucking figure out where all the fucking dinosaurs need to go.
I was taking note, but then I gave up.
I've taken a couple of mental notes, so it's fresh enough in my mind that I have no idea where they are. Ross, I keep finding more like shitty but not shitty Star Wars games as well. I keep finding so many of them, and I'm just really looking forward to like actually like having like that fucking Star Wars year.
I'm looking forward to it. I love Star Wars.
I think that was a good idea. Like, because we're away to have like so many more fucking games come out soon as well.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt there'll be a massive fucking cash cow with the new series.
Yeah.
Who's it?
Speaking of cash cows, the boy that played Gimli in Lord of the Rings is like annoyed about the Lord of the Rings Netflix series.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he's sort of the folk who ran Tolkien's estate sort of made sure that it wasn't like milked just for profit. And it was his son that headed up the estate, but his son's fucking 93 and has stepped down from like managing the estate, and you know, very quickly this sort of series has appeared.
I sees.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of people are going to watch that. Even if it's not great, there'll be a lot of people that get really into it.
I'm gonna watch it. I don't have that much hope for it though.
That's,
It's surrounding the Silmarillion. It's all to do with between the First and Second Age.
Mm.
So, yeah, well before the events of Lord of the Rings. Well, kinda.
somewhat, some not.
Well, yeah, it's before the events of Lord of the Rings because that was like the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings both took place in the Third Age. Anyway.
I just kind of quietly nodded and stared into space there for some reason. Anyways, if you've enjoyed the podcast, why not check out the channel for more stuff? Do Let's Plays every Friday, podcast every 2 weeks. Join us in 2 weeks' time in the lovely festive month of December for another podcast.
Dino!
What the fuck was that?
That was a dino.
Dino, mate.
Just because the way you said
Bye, folks.
Just because the way you said that right at the end, it's actually going to be a dynamite stick that comes up.
Fair enough. Can the dynamite stick have a dinosaur head on it?
Absolutely.
Excellent. You want access to my Photoshop so
No,
you
wait.
can make that, or
Nah, it's
Can the dynamite, right? You know, like the fuse. Can that be the neck of a brachiosaurus?
This is getting complicated.
Oh.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye,
guys.
Quick, before they get us to do more. Quick, go.
Dino.
No.